Welcome to a brand new series on the channel simply called Booked. In this series, we're going to be booking future storylines, shows, and angles. Each episode will have a different focus on one single storyline, and remember, this is not how it should go, this is just how I would do it if I was in charge of handling things. For the first installment in this series, we're going to be laying out the groundwork for John Cena's record-breaking 17th World Championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Note, in this world, John Cena is back to a full-time competitor in the WWE. This run is going to be framed as his final full-time run with the company. So, it's 2022, WrestleMania 38 is on the horizon, and John Cena returns on the first episode of Raw in the new year. He makes his intentions clear, he's back, and he's been reflecting on his career, and he says, all due respect to Ric Flair, but I carried this company, and now it's time for me to solidify myself as the consensus greatest of all time, and I can't do that without becoming a 17-time world champion. He declares himself for the 2022 Royal Rumble, and he says he intends on challenging the WWE champion. He lets everyone know that in a matter of months, it will have been 20 years since he made his debut in June of 2002. And he says, time catches up to you. He knows that he can't do this for very much longer. Cena finishes his promo and he's interrupted by Edge. He says it's been a while and they talk about their battles from many years ago. Edge says to Cena, it's great to have you back. I have a lot of respect for you. But if you think you're gonna get in the way of me fulfilling my destiny, you are mistaken. Edge gets more and more aggressive, telling Cena this is what he fought for, and the only thing left in this redemption story is to capture the WWE Championship. And he'll do that by winning the Royal Rumble for a second straight year. Note that in this world, the WWE Champion is Seth Rollins. The Royal Rumble rolls along and Cena is in at number 17. He hangs into the match until the final four. It's Edge, Cena, Lesnar, and Orton. Lesnar has been in since number 4 and Cena, Edge, and Orton are going for Lesnar. But just as they're trying to pull Lesnar over the top rope, Cena is pulled over by a man in a hood. The man viciously beats down Cena, eliminating him in the process, but we don't know who it is. Orton and Edge are eliminated by the winner of the Royal Rumble, and that is Brock Lesnar. He continues his feud for the Universal title, leaving the WWE Champion without an opponent at WrestleMania. The next night, Edge is in a rage. He says that nothing is going to get in his path to the WWE Championship. He says he'll win it at any cost. He'll run a gauntlet, he'll fight 20 men, 30 men, 40 men, whatever it takes. It's later announced that a number 1 contender's Elimination Chamber match is taking place at the end of February on Raw. That match has Big E, Riddle, Randy Orton, Finn Balor, Edge, and John Cena. Later in the show, Cena comes out to the ring and he's demanding answers. He wants to know who attacked him at the Royal Rumble. He runs down enemies he's made in the past and he thinks to himself, who? Who could it have been? Why did someone get in his way to becoming immortal? He's given no response, but he's challenged to an impromptu match by Finn Balor, as Cena took Balor's spot at SummerSlam 2021, so I think it would be a good tie-up to a loose end there. Balor gets his revenge, and later, Cena is seen leaving the building. He gets into his car, and just as the door shuts, an SUV comes and slams into Cena's car. The window opens to reveal the same man from the Royal Rumble, but we still do not know who it is. Vince McMahon is out to check on Cena to see if he's okay. Cena isn't seen until the Elimination Chamber match on Raw at the end of February. It's Raw, and we're ready for the Elimination Chamber match. The last few left are Orton, Edge, and Cena. Edge eliminates Orton after Riddle beats him down because those two are feuding in this world, and it's down to Cena and Edge. Cena and Edge back and forth like it's 2006 all over again. But Cena has Edge down. He's muscling up for an attitude adjustment, but just as he's about to hit it, just like Shawn Michaels in 2010, someone emerges from the panel at the bottom of the chamber. It's the same hooded man who's been chasing down John Cena. Cena runs towards him and he catches a running boot to the face. Edge pins Cena and earns a WWE Championship match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38. We come back from replay and the man in the hood is still standing over John Cena. He slowly takes it off and it's revealed to be Drew McIntyre. McIntyre now goes back to this badass, no-nonsense character which just wants to win. None of this carrying a sword and telling folktales bullcrap. He's here for a purpose, and he wants to get rid of stupid in the WWE, and in his opinion, that's John Cena. He says, while Cena's been off in Hollywood, I've been carrying this company. When a global pandemic came into the world, it was me carrying this company, and he's not just gonna let that go to waste for some history-making 17th world title. John Cena is a hypocrite. John Cena is everything he despised. John Cena is what's wrong with this business. John Cena is a cartoon in a business full of grown men. Drew McIntyre is not going to let John Cena's PG doctrine diminish what he believes is his company. He tells everyone to cast their mind back to 2011. John Cena was here pandering to the masses, telling them that he would never be like The Rock and leave. He would always be here. But what happened? He let his own love for money and fame get into the way, and he left. What you're doing here is you're having Drew say these things while Cena's also realizing like, yeah, that's it. I've become what I once hated. Over the coming weeks, Drew McIntyre is viciously beating down Cena at every turn. He is screaming at him, "Who the hell are you?" He tells him he doesn't belong here anymore. He tells him that time has passed him by. He talks about all the people John Cena held down over the years, from Mr. Kennedy to the Nexus. But McIntyre says, not me. You can't hold me down. He says he's a shark who comes back for a match here and there, but he's gonna get rid of the threat once and for all. Cena and McIntyre agree that there's only one way to settle things, and that's a match at WrestleMania 38. At Mania 38, McIntyre catches Cena's 5-knuckle shuffle into a Claymore and takes the win. Cena failed to get much offense in this match, and it really does look like time has actually caught up to him. Cena, after catching a beating from McIntyre, is just sitting there. He's wondering to himself, is this really for him anymore? He looks around at the crowd, he puts his head down, and he just leaves. On that same night, Edge captures the WWE Championship from Seth Rollins. I think it's perfect for Edge's redemption story to culminate with capturing the WWE title from the man who tried to end his way of life 8 years prior. The next night, Raw opens up with Edge celebrating as the WWE Champion. He talks about just how much he's overcome to get here. At this point, Edge's character is still, I'm back and I'm better than ever. There's confetti raining down, balloons, there's pyro, but he's interrupted by Seth Rollins demanding his rematch. He is subsequently interrupted by John Cena. Rollins gets in Cena's head. He's like, man, you just don't have it anymore. Did you see your performance last night? He says, this isn't 2006. You're not the competitor you once were. You're not John Cena. Your life has been in a downward spiral since you left the WWE. Rollins beats down Cena viciously. End of the night on the Raw after Mania, it's Cena versus Rollins in a #1 contenders match. Edge goes to Cena's locker room. He's like, do you remember when you were fighting Brock Lesnar in 2012 and I came back to wake you up? Well, you need to be woke up again, but you need to find what made John Cena in the first place. What were those 2 words? 2 words that defined you. Edge slaps Cena in the face and he says, what were they? Cena doesn't say anything. Edge slaps him in the face again. Cena turns, bitch slaps Edge as hard as he can, and he screams out, ruthless aggression. Cena has now lost his way so much he returns to the rapper gimmick. But at the end of the night, Seth Rollins beats him, and at this point, Cena just can't do it anymore. His career is trending downwards, and over the coming months, we see that a lot more. He spends the next few months at the bottom of the division, fighting the randomest people with no actual direction. He's lost his way so much that he finds himself on main event, and the WWE production team makes it very evident that this man has completely fell off. Until it's Raw Legends Night. Evolution is back for a reunion, and backstage they stumble upon John Cena chasing the 24/7 title, having the time of his life. Slowly, they all line up towards Cena, one by one, and they stare him down. First is Batista, then it's Triple H, then Randy Orton, some of John Cena's biggest competition. And slowly, it's Ric Flair at the end. He walks up to Cena. They have a moment where Cena realizes what he truly came back for. He saw Ric Flair and he remembered. He wants to be known as the greatest of all time. Evolution walks away while Cena is thinking to himself, what happened? Later on in the night, Edge is laid out in his locker room. The locker room is completely trashed. We see a shot of Edge on the ground, and right in front of the camera, John Cena waves the "you can't see me." Cena makes his intentions clear. He wants the WWE Championship, and he will do anything for it. He doesn't turn completely heel, but he's more so a tweener. He has this new vicious side to him, outsmarting opponents and playing mind games. Cena defeats AJ Styles in a #1 contenders match, and the match is made official. It's John Cena versus Edge for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 2022. But it's June 27th, 2022, Monday Night Raw. We're just over a month away from SummerSlam, but today is a very special day. Today marks John Cena's 20th anniversary since his WWE debut. Edge sets up a celebration of Cena's career, showcasing all his moments in and outside the ring. Cena comes to the ring, and the stage is filled with WWE superstars showing Cena respect. Edge at this point is still the "I'm back, my career is back" character. Edge talks about how grateful he is that John Cena is still there. The Joker to his Batman, or vice versa. But slowly, things start to take a turn. It goes bad. He mentions Nikki Bella. He talks about Mickie James. He starts to remind Cena of the time that he went to Cena's house and beat up his dad. Cena snaps, and we end Raw with a locker room clearing brawl. Edge is showing signs of heel tendencies, but he's not quite there yet. Over the coming weeks, these two are flat out shooting on each other. We get shoot promos with all types of fourth walls being broken. They're talking about burials, they bring up CM Punk, the Nexus. Edge puts down Cena as someone who holds others down. Cena says that he should have just let Edge get his neck stomped out by Seth Rollins in 2014. Cena talks about Matt Hardy and Lita. Edge insults Cena's family, to which Cena does the same. Edge goes to Massachusetts, back to the Cena household, and he destroys that home. John Cena even goes to NXT, and he tells Beth Phoenix that it's over. He's gonna retire Edge all over again. He says to her, "I'm gonna leave him a shell of what he once was." And NXT goes off the air with Beth Phoenix scared for her husband's future. This feud feels like the hottest, most personal and real feud we've had in years. Vince McMahon even has to get involved along the way, saying if there's any more physicality, they will both be terminated. But he says, why don't we raise the stakes a little bit more? You guys can go at this, make a no holds barred match. It's the last Raw before SummerSlam, it's a contract signing, Cena and Edge both sign, and we finish the show with both men trading verbal blows and security separating them. Both men being held back by security and threatening to end each other's careers. It's SummerSlam 2022, Nashville, Tennessee, 50 some odd thousand people ready for the main event. Cena versus Edge, WWE Championship, no holds barred. These two go back and forth. Edge hits a spear through the barricade, Cena with an AA onto the table, they brawl in the crowd, they go throughout the arena and into the parking lot. Tons of creative spots. Cena is going after Edge's neck with a steel chain, multiple finisher attempts, and both men are spent. It's the late stages and Cena has Edge measured for a super AA. He hits it off the top rope and lays an arm over Edge to cover him. The ref counts 1, 2, and just as he's about to hit for 3, someone hits Cena with a concerto, breaking up the pinfall. The camera pans up and it's Beth Phoenix. She grabs thumbtacks and Cena is suplexed onto the tacks. Edge makes the pin and retains the WWE Championship in one of the greatest matches we've ever seen. Just like his song says, he says to Cena, "You think you know me." From here, Cena isn't seen for a bit, and Edge goes back into 2006 mode. He's a sadistic sicko all over again, running around being an ass with Lita, only this time he's doing it with Beth Phoenix. Okay, not like that. Edge transitions over into a mini feud with Damian Priest before John Cena returns one last time. He grabs a mic, starts to shed a tear. He says, "I've tried everything, but I feel like I just need one more chance. And Edge, if I can't beat you, I'll leave this all behind and I'll retire from the WWE." Edge accepts the match and it's official. John Cena versus Edge at Survivor Series, but we're running it back. It's a TLC match for the WWE Championship. If Cena loses, he must retire. Cena, Edge, in Cena's home state of Massachusetts. They have callbacks to their Unforgiven match from 2006. Cena has Edge in a ladder for the STF. There's a spear off a ladder. Guys are being chucked left, right, and center. Cena climbs up the ladder to go retrieve the title, but he's met by Edge. Cena, with 2 tables set up, hits Edge with a steel chain right in the head. Smiles into the hard cam, picks up Edge for an attitude adjustment, into 2 tables just like 2006. John Cena unhooks the WWE Championship, and he's done it. John Cena is the undisputed #1 when it comes to world championships in WWE. Pyro is blaring, there's graphics everywhere saying record breaker. The whole locker room comes out and is giving John Cena a round of applause. Survivor Series goes off the air with the brand new WWE champion, Jonathan Felix Anthony Cena. The next night on Raw, the main show ends with a celebration for the new WWE champion. Vince McMahon announces for such a momentous occasion, a new championship will be presented to John Cena. And it will be presented to him by Ric Flair, the man who's passing his legacy down. John Cena and his wife are in the ring ready for the celebration. Before the celebration, Cena gives a speech on how momentous an occasion this is. He talks about how thankful he is. He talks about his life. He's thankful to have his wife here. He's thankful to the WWE Universe. He talks about his ups and downs in the world of pro wrestling. And then the celebration gets underway. Some of John Cena's greatest moments ever are showcased. Some of John Cena's biggest achievements are put into the ring. And of course, John Cena's greatest opponents come out to give him congratulations. Everyone from Shawn Michaels to JBL, Batista, Triple H, AJ Styles. But at the end, it's Ric Flair who's supposed to come out. But something has happened to Ric Flair. There's a camera shot showing Ric Flair on the ground. Someone has attacked him. All the legends, including John Cena, rush to the back to check on Rick. But left in the ring is his wife, who is circled by Randy Orton and hit with an RKO. Cena and Orton run back this feud for the final time. Also in that is a triple threat match with Cena, Orton, and Edge. Cena then moves into a mini feud with AJ Styles, and from here, what Cena does is he brings back the Open Challenge, puts on terrific matches with the likes of Austin Theory and Carmelo Hayes, and he just uses it as a symbol to showcase new talent. After he's gone through everyone and ran back the greatest hits, there's a new guy on the roster who's been running through everyone. A guy who's been opening a lot of eyes in the WWE. Cena's out on an episode of Raw asking, who has it? Who has the single ingredient to dethrone the greatest? Who's gonna put up or shut up? And out comes 26-year-old Braun Breaker. He says to him, I think I've seen this episode before he slaps Cena in the face and he screams out, aggression. Hits him again, screams out, aggression. He hits him again, screams out, aggression. Braun Breaker is just getting more and more fired up each time. He doesn't say ruthless aggression, he just says aggression. The match is made for WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood. Over the coming weeks, Braun Breaker is pushed as this mega threat, the likes of which Cena has never seen before. You can feel it coming beforehand. This will be the passing of the torch. At WrestleMania, it's Breaker and Cena in the main event. Cena hits all of his biggest moves, but he just can't solve Braun Breaker. This is the match where it looks like, yes, time has indeed caught up to John Cena. And just as Cena is about to hit an AA, Breaker catches him into a Steiner recliner, Cena taps out, Braun Breaker is the new WWE champion, and the torch has been passed on. Just as Breaker is about to get the title, Cena takes it away from the ref. He looks down at the WWE logo and he says, "It's yours now. Don't let me down." Hands him the title, the two shake hands, and Breaker leaves Cena in the ring. Cena circles around and he looks out to the crowd as a tear starts to shed from his eye. The wristbands come off, he leaves them in the middle of the ring, he kneels down, kisses the ring mat, does the "you can't see me," and that "you can't see me" slowly just transitions up into a hand in the air, and he's waving goodbye. Thank you Cena chants ring through SoFi Stadium, and WrestleMania 39 ends with John Cena taking his final bow. John Cena leaves WWE and the memories alone, unofficially retiring, but the gate is still open. And there you have it. John Cena has reached 17 world titles in the WWE. In that process, he's redone some great rivalries with Randy Orton and Edge, which a lot of us just want to see one final time. I've also given us the Drew McIntyre match that a lot of us want to see, and tied in some loose ends from fairly recently with the Finn Balor stuff. And to cap things off even more, Cena makes a brand new star out of Braun Breaker. What better a way to leave a legacy and repay the business? And yes, I know that Ric Flair has been blacklisted from the company, but you need to transfer that legacy on one way or another. After this, we don't need to hear the name Ric Flair ever again. That responsibility solely lays on John Cena. I think that whether it's done in the way I set it out or some other way, there's a lot of money to be made in running John Cena's 17th world title as a full-on storyline, framing it as the culmination of his career and one final full-time run that's gonna make WWE a ton of bank. This man's impact in the mainstream world and how much he did in the WWE can't be overstated. He deserves this accolade, and I think he should be the first to do it, and it should feel larger than life. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this brand new series. We'll do episode 2 with a different topic. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know. Let me know how you would book this title reign if you were able to. As always, stay safe, take care. Leave me a like while you're at it too. I don't often ask for those, but it would help me out. Alright, peace.